Hi everybody, I'm here reporting on yesterday's defeat in the League Cup final to Celtic, albeit on penalties. What's new? As you can see, I'm in my miserable mode again. I thought this outfit was appropriate to how every Rangers fan must be feeling right now. Yet again, another game we could have won, this time on the basis of penalties, but we don't have a good track record when it comes to finals and penalties, so no surprise there. What can I say? Let's be truthful. Celtic are a better team than us. On the whole, they've got better individual players, not every one of them, but on the whole, they're a better team. They're organised, they're quicker at passing and moving, quicker in thought. They've got a good manager who knows how to deal with us, especially. So tactics are usually correct. They've got a system of playing, a pattern of play. They seem to know what they're doing. Every player seems to know where they should be at whichever time. All the things we don't have. So to actually get to extra time was a minor miracle. And to go from there to penalties was a major miracle. So disappointing that it ends up one penalty short. Well, two, I suppose, if we'd scored an extra one compared to Celtic. So we can't really complain. I didn't think we played that well. Celtic were always the dominant team, dominating possession, making better chances than us. Jack Butland had 4 or 5 good saves. Schmeichel had maybe a couple, and that was it. I'll go back probably to my favourite saying, managers know nothing. Well, that doesn't apply to Brendan, I don't think, but it certainly applies to our guy. After a couple of decent games against the Kilmarnocks of this world, Tavernier starts the game, the thing everybody was dreading, and he starts the game and it reverts back to type. Okay, Maeda didn't this time at least make a fool of him because he didn't have a good game actually. I say that, but he scored the second goal out of nothing and the winning penalty, but he wasn't tormenting Tavernier up the wing. Tavernier just had a poor game in terms of his passing, his crossing, overhit crosses, underhit crosses, giving the ball away, out of position, all the normal things. He should never have started. So as soon as we heard the team line up at Hampden, that and the fact that Suter didn't make it, he was a big loss, and Proper was playing, set the alarm bells ringing. But to be fair, Proper was actually okay. Him and Balogun did okay considering they're in their 30s and they shouldn't be normal first choice picks. So that was a bad start. Equally, I couldn't believe it when he's starting by Rami, who's been very poor the last 3-4 games, if not longer. He was starting by Rami and Hadji. These two are just too weak for a game like this. They don't have the physical strength or the pace to cope in a game like this, and yet he starts both of them, and he actually maintained them well into the game. In fact, I think Bayrami even lasted into extra time. The two of them should have been subbed at half time. Danilo should have started, and if not, he should have come on at least at half time. Same with Connor Barron. We needed somebody with his battling qualities, his energy, able to get into the face of opponents and rob them of the ball. That's the kind of players we need in a game like this, at least at the start of it, when everybody's fresh. It was obvious by the extra time most players were tiring, especially ours. Our guys looked more tired than Celtic, so that tells you something as well, probably. They used their substitutes better than us as well. So manager started with the wrong team, didn't make subs at the right time, didn't even put the right subs on. His first 2 substitutions were sort of forced because Balogun had to be subbed because he was injured. So Sterling came on. He should have started at right back in the first place, and then Shefty because he was on a booking, and Kuhn was just taking a mick out of him the way he was getting by him. So he had to replace him, otherwise he'd have got sent off. So unfortunately, as it turned out for us, Yilmaz came on. He did okay at left back, but of course it was a pathetic penalty that lost the game for us. And why would you have him as number 5 penalty taker? he's shown his whole career at Rangers that his shooting's wild, and even in the game yesterday, he had a great chance from about 20 yards out, nobody in front of him, and he blasted it into what, Rose Z, or Rose ZZ is at Hampden, behind the goal. So why would you give him one of the crucial penalties? Absolute disgrace. And meanwhile, Drossers is hiding, presumably in the pack, waiting for number 8 penalty taker to be announced and hoping it doesn't get to him. The fact that the keeper was number 5 is an absolute disgrace. These other guys should have stepped up and taken a penalty, and they didn't. So I don't care how good they are in training. That isn't how it should work when it comes down to the nitty gritty. So anyhow, penalties were a terrible disappointment just because of that one guy. Who knows what might have happened if he'd put it in. So we weren't great. We did try to close down the space against them for most of the game. We didn't get in their faces enough. We were still 2-3 yards off them, but at least we were sort of covering them. But we gave them far too much time and space when they had possession. For a lot of the game, Schmeichel spent the time halfway in his own half, just standing watching, because he knew there was no chance of a quick breakaway from us. And when he got the ball and gave it to either Carthorse, Vickers, or Scales, or previously Trusty, they were playing in the right and left back positions and nothing up the middle because they didn't have to worry. So they were playing right and left back, and where were the fullbacks? Well, they were up the field causing chaos, going inside, taking passes, passing it on. The midfield of Celtic had too much time and space. Thankfully, Kyogo did nothing. I mean, he was no danger whatsoever. I think he had one shot at goal in the first half, straight at Butland, who just held it high. It was as well. So he was no threat. Maeda wasn't a threat either. Kuhn was the star man. He really caused a lot of bother down our left-hand side. So if it hadn't been for him, we might just have kept control of the game for most of the game. But no, he was man of the match, I would have said. And Carthorse Vickers as well. He had a great game for Celtic. And in fact, first 5 minutes of the second half, when it was 1-0 for us, with the chance to go 2-0 up, and probably, I say probably, the game would have been won. Maybe not, the way we play and the way Celtic keep going. But we were 4-on-1 by Rami in possession, 4-on-1. Only Carthorse Vickers back. We're in a line 20 yards outside from away from the goal. Bayrami just has to slot it across the face of the box, and I think it was Hadji and who else? Cherny, I think it was. They were just waiting to put it into the net, and he delayed, and Carthorse Vickers slid in and blocked the attempted pass for a corner. I mean, that should have been a goal. 4 against 1, and we can't even put it in the net at that point. But that's the difference in quality. Our guys just don't have the quality. They don't have the presence of mind, the speed of thought, and the speed of action and movement to actually capitalise on great chances like that. So that was a terrible situation, missed. And 3-4 minutes later, we're 2-1 down. So let's end on a positive. We did come back twice, especially the second time when we scored that third goal. So you've got to commend the players for their determination, their grit, their mindset that kept them going and got them back into the game twice, especially in the dying minutes when all looked lost. So good on them for that. But the quality's just not there. Celtic are a better team. We can't complain. It's so annoying to think we were that close, and yet we still couldn't just get that goal or even that penalty to close out the game. So at least that was a positive. But all in all, a game to forget, because it just showed that Celtic are superior to us, and we've got to improve the coaching, improve the management, get a couple of decent players in who are at a level above what we've got now, and hope that in the future we can actually at least beat the wee Diddy teams in the league, and maybe manage to beat Celtic in a couple of weeks at home. And if we can't, then we really are in trouble, I would say.